Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened in the past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Alright, so first up, before we get to the bad stuff of the week, we'll start with the good stuff of the week. So we have Wave 10. So Wave 10 is finally more available for US fans who did not ever get it from GameStop, or who never were able to find it in Target. You finally have your chance to get it for a lot easier of a time than you probably had over the last couple of months. So it is finally up in stock on Hasbro Pulse, all 4 of the figures from the Wave, and 3 of the figures besides Zeo Yellow, which I talked about last week, are in stock on Amazon still, but the Hasbro Pulse part of it was new. So even though they had just recently delayed them from January 1st to April 1st to fit with the old Amazon release date, now they're both out. So the April 1st release date was never going to be true. I knew that months ago, because by the time April rolls around this year, we're gonna have Wave 11 out by April. It's not gonna take till September for that wave to come out. I just hope everybody realizes that, because it's not going to take that long. But just like we had assumed with that, these are out now. So if you never were able to get your hands on them, you can finally do so now, which is great, because I know a lot of people were trying to get those to complete Zeo if you were able to get the Cat 2-pack, or complete In Space if you were able to get Zane, or get anybody from this wave. So I'm glad that it's more readily available for people, and I will include the Pulse links down below and also the Amazon links down below in the description if you are trying to find it and want to get them. So it's great for those who want them. Speaking of a couple random figure releases in the US, Big Bad Toy Store, we talked about last week, I believe, they had added to their pile of loot, or they sent out emails saying that it was going to be, popping up in people's pile of loot or getting ready to ship, was the April O'Neil and Michelangelo 2-pack. Well, now a week later, the other 2 have now, fallen into the same category. So the Leo and Donnie 2-pack and the Raphael and Tommy Foot Soldier 2-pack have also started getting emails of people getting them in their pile of loots or ready to ship or whatever. I've not heard anything about Shredder just yet, so it looks like they just got all the 2-packs in, but they are still listed for April pre-orders, and so I don't know if you place a new order now, if they will, put it into your pile of loot sooner, or if, it seems like this is pretty much just them honoring the pre-orders, them doing it correctly and not how GameStop would do it, because GameStop would honor any new orders over the older orders. That was a tongue twister right there. But anyway, those 2-packs are available on Big Bad Toy Store for at least those who pre-order them. But you can still pre-order them now. I just don't know if you'll get them in your pile of loot any sooner or later than anybody else. Really quick, I'm going to talk about the Zedd helmet because it actually popped up in stock in the US at Dorkside Toys a couple of days ago. So very, very similar to like what happened in September with A-Squad Red and in October with A-Squad Yellow, where they were the first stores in the US to get those. They got the Zedd helmet in this past, I think it was Wednesday that they got it in, and I immediately jumped on that. I canceled my orders from Pulse and GameStop, so that's actually on the way to me right now, which I didn't mention this earlier, but this is the final episode of Lightning Storm being filmed over my winter break. So starting next weekend, we will be back up at my dorm location, and I'm having the Zedd helmet sent over there. So be sure to stay tuned for the review of that coming out soon, although it's not available on Dorkside Toys anymore as far as I'm aware. I can include the link in the description below, but it did like 404 error out after like a day, which is exactly what happened with the A-Squad Rangers when they sold out of those. The link just like went completely down. But they did have it up for a little bit on Wednesday nights, and they shipped that thing like immediately. Like I ordered it and I had a shipping email within like 30 minutes. They wasted no time. So it was nice that they had it, and I can't wait to get it. And like I said, stay tuned for my video review of it coming later on this week, and hopefully it will go back up there for those who want to get that earlier than like the March or the July or whatever release dates certain stores had for them, because it does look pretty awesome. Next up, we have a little one of those Tom Whalen artwork updates I like to do, because I just like to talk about whenever he posts, brand new full artworks on his site and on his Twitter and everything. And this week he posted 2 more, first up being Piranha's head from the Deluxe Figures Wave 1 that's coming out later this year, and also the standalone Pudgy Pig, and well, I guess he's always been standalone, but this is the retail version of Pudgy Pig's artwork, because the Lunchbox Pulse conversion does not have any Tom Whalen box art on there. It's the only Lightning Collection item to not, or at least the Lightning Collection figure item to not. So it is cool that we get both of these. He was talking about how he really likes to do the monster assignments that Hasbro gives him, and I can definitely see why, because they're definitely more unique and probably a little bit more involved than just like, you know, copy and pasting a Ranger and changing the color in the helmet, which probably doesn't take him very long. So that is nice to see that he enjoys these, and he does a fantastic job with them, and I always like to see the full prints of them. So that will be linked in the description below if you want to check out his gallery for all of his Lightning Collection box art, because I love that he continues to update it for us. Alright, before we get to my final story that I genuinely do not want to talk about, we have listings in the Walmart system. Nothing new, per se, just kind of more confirmation on things we already knew. There's really not much to dissect into this. It wasn't super exciting. But basically, earlier this past week, Martian Ranger on Twitter, who of course finds stuff like I do, found the listings on the Walmart system for Wave 14 and one figure from Wave 13, and then once he found those, I did some digging and found the other ones for Wave 13. So Wave 13, we already know what it is. It's going to be Dino Fury Green, and Dino Charge Blue, and Beast Morphers Yellow, and some unknown villain from Wild Force. So we have the code names for them, since they are in the Walmart system. We already had these code names. These code names are part of the Canterbury Tale codes from the list of listings 3.0 from last summer. I can't tell you like which one is Summoner or which one is whatever the other random ones were. But we also do have the Wave 14 codes, which also come from the list of listings 3.0 and are also part of the Canterbury Tale codes. So here are the Wave 14 codes, because their listings are also on Walmart. But so far we do not have any way of knowing who's actually in Wave 14, we just have the codes for Wave 14. So not only did I write an article this past week on Illuminati, kind of speculating who could be in the wave, I also kind of talked about this in my kind of 2022 Lightning Collection predictions video a couple weeks ago. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time before we crack the code, literally. So in terms of figuring out who's in Wave 14, I'm sure we will find out soon. But for now, it's just nice to see further confirmation that these are, of course, the actual Lightning Collection codes for Wave 13 and Wave 14. And finally for this week, we have our next Lightning Collection controversy, because we really can't go too long without something happening in this line that people are going to make a fuss about. So, basically, in the UK this past week, the Ninja Ranger figures started to release at numerous different online retailers. So, of course, Ninja Blue, Black, White, and Pink. And the figures look fantastic. I love how these figures look from when we saw them in Malaysia and also a couple of them in Vietnam and stuff like that over the last couple of weeks, or really just like the last 2 weeks. But all four of them are out in the UK right now, which we kind of had heard that was probably going to be happening here very soon, because numerous different stores were starting to post that they were going to be getting them. However, at least for this UK batch, I mean, that's another thing too. They've looked perfectly fine for the Malaysian batch and also in the Vietnamese batch. Those looked fine, but these ones are not. So basically a lot, and I mean a lot, of Lightning Collection UK fans have been getting the Ninja Rangers with missing pieces. So, thankfully, RangerBoard has been making these really nice graphics that they've been sharing on their Twitter that I'll go ahead and put up here as well. So, shout out and credits to RangerBoard for putting these together. But numerous different fans have reached out and have tagged me and RangerBoard and a bunch of other news sites and stuff in posting that their figures are missing pieces. And what the most common thing that keeps happening is that, so the Ninja Rangers are supposed to come with 3 different heads. They're supposed to have like the regular, they're the main masked up one, which is on the figure itself inside the packaging. And then they're supposed to have the one where it's like the intermediate mode, where it has like the wrappings all around their face except for their eyes. And then there's supposed to be the third one, which is like basically the full-on civilian head, where it just has the headband. So what's been happening is that a lot of people have been getting them with either both of those additional heads missing from the packaging, they're just not there, or only one of them is missing from the packaging, or in weird cases, which this has also happened numerous times, the same head is in there twice, which is really, really odd. Or also what's been missing is the hands. So for whatever reason, Ninja White Tommy seems to be the most abundant one with problems. He's the one that pops up on all of these graphics more than once, followed by Ninja Pink being probably the second most common, Ninja Black being the third most common. I have seen it on all of them. And then Ninja Blue seems to be the one that's probably the best track record. Doesn't mean it hasn't been happening with Blue. It has been. I've been seeing it posted, a couple of times with Blue, but definitely nowhere near as frequent as the other 3, and especially not with as frequent as White. This is yeah, okay. So this is terrible. This is really bad because the pieces are just missing. And a lot of these stores are online retailers too, so it's not like people are messing with these in the stores or these are returns or something. These are just straight up defects from the factory. Like, people are just been getting them. And, it's even back up, some people were like, oh, people could have just been faking those. And maybe some of them they are. However, and I mean, I'm not trying to call people out, but, like, possibly. However, though, we have further proof that this is just a phenomenon that we've been getting, because one of the stores, Comics and Cocktails, posted explicitly on their Facebook page that they are checking every single one of the Ninja Ranger figures that they ship out to make sure they don't ship out ones with missing pieces, which, hey, shout out to them that they're doing that. Kind of shame on In-Demand Toys for not doing that. But Comics and Cocktails has been doing that, and they posted on their Facebook page a couple of their bad ones from their batch, because they said that there were ones in their batch that were bad as well, which is one of the few times we saw one with Ninja Blue messed up, and I don't know why the store would lie. So that is just terrible. Man, like, talking about this has been a complete disaster, by the way, as well, because I put out a tweet about it. That, people are really quick to just call out Hasbro. People are also just as easily quick as to call out the stores, which I don't know why you would call out the stores, kind of. I mean, I get calling them out in terms of, like, you shouldn't ship those to your customers if you notice that they're wrong, but at the same time, everybody's, busy and everything. They're trying to get the figures out the door. They're not examining every single aspect of them, so I get it. Especially because a lot of these are smaller stores and everything. But at the same time, people are also just not wanting to call Hasbro out on this. Like, I've gotten some flack for trying to call Hasbro out on this. Maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. But, like, I know some people tried to contact Hasbro Pulse and not customer care, which that was a whole ordeal. I put out a tweet about that where I, like, retweeted it or something. I ended up having to delete that tweet because I just got so many different people responding saying, oh, they should have contacted customer care and everything, which, yes, you're right, they should have, and not Pulse. But they should have contacted customer care because they didn't buy it from Pulse, and I caught that, and then 50 people had to tell me that, so I deleted the tweet because I was tired of seeing that notification. So, I hate this. This has been ridiculous. Hasbro. So, here's the deal. So, you guys, I hope somebody at this company watches these videos. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but, like, this is easily the biggest Lightning Collection news show on YouTube, as few and far between as those probably are. So, I don't curse on this show very often, but you gotta get your shit together. This is ridiculous. Every single couple of months, we get a ridiculous, defect with a figure or something, like A-Squad Pink, whatever the hell happened with that. We have these heads going on with the Ninja Rangers, which this could just be the UK batch, but, like, there's been over 10 of this. Like, over 10 cases of this being a problem, which I say is a good kind of measure of a widespread thing, you know what I mean? Like, 10 random people. So that's terrible. Of course, you've had in the past Dino Thunder White and everything with the visor trim and everything like that. Like, I just do not understand why people are not quality controlling these properly. Now, it's also frustrating because I'm mad for people, and I'm mad being such a, strict supporter of this line that time and time again, random crap keeps happening to this line. And it will kill it. It will kill this line eventually if this continues to keep happening. Like, take a step back and maybe not release 46 figures a year like they did last year, because 46 new Lightning Collection figures came out in 2021 somewhere in the world. So maybe dial it back a little bit to make sure you can actually produce good figures that don't keep having these problems all over the place. And now here's the other side of the argument, because I know a lot of people don't even like when I get defensive or when I get upset about Lightning Collection things happening. I mean, I'm upset for people. I'm upset on behalf of the line. I'm upset on behalf of the fans. I'm upset in anticipation that these figures that are Target exclusives in the United States, which is historically the hardest exclusives to try to get in the United States, I'm worried that when mine eventually arrive, that they'll have problems. And not even to mention the fact that the Tyrannosaurus Sentry has been on a pre-order limbo hiatus purgatory for nearly an entire year at Target. And of course, I understand that we're in a pretty bad situation in the world right now. There's a lot of different shipping problems, and there's a lot more bigger problems than this, and I totally understand that. But this show is to talk about the Lightning Collection, and this is a Lightning Collection problem, and I would like to talk about it here. So, I don't know, it's just getting really, really, really tiring to cover this line with such passion. And just like, it's like, I feel like I'm just watching a dumpster fire occur in front of my face and I can't extinguish it no matter what I do. Like, it just sucks. It really, really sucks. And it also sucks because I always, whenever I try to call out controversies and stuff like A Squad Pink, I get shit on because then people are like, oh, look at this guy complaining about these, you know, action figures for kids and everything. And it's like, I don't feel like I'm, you know, overstepping my boundaries here. These figures are costing more. They're becoming more expensive every single year, and they're getting worse every single time. So like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, how do you expect us to pay more for them when you're doing this kind of stuff? And of course, they're not doing it intentionally. A mistake occurred. Obviously, do something about it, please. At this current point in time, Hasbro has yet to say anything about it. I personally do not think that they will say anything about it. History proves me that they usually don't. They usually just ignore most of these controversies, except for Dino Thunder White. That's been like the only time that they have acknowledged that they went wrong and fixed it. I'm not counting things like the Tonfas because they didn't even acknowledge that they brought the Tonfas back when they did bring them back eventually. Even though they did kind of in that one random question that a lot of people missed, but that's not the point. I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this. This is just turning into a giant rant. But like, I personally feel bad for UK fans who were waiting for these figures and got them, and now they're all screwed up. And I don't know if there's even going to be a possible option for you guys to get them fixed, especially because of the fact that they are store exclusives in the US. That means that they could have more limited quantities of them in other countries, especially because historically other countries don't really get our US store exclusives very easily. So I'm sure it was already a pain in of itself to get them over there to begin with, let alone getting them wrong. So I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up here. I don't really have anything else to say on it. But basically, I'm upset. Hasbro, you should be upset. And please, just evaluate what the hell is going on, you know, on every level of your stuff. Not to mention the fact of how many different figures we get that are just inaccurate or inconsistencies. Like, I mean, we're not even bringing that stuff to the table because we could be here for another hour if we wanted to talk about all of that crap. So I don't know. I just hope that they can figure stuff out so this line doesn't die prematurely. This line will die. It will end eventually. And of course it will. But I want it to end once we have a really, really good solid lineup of figures from years that don't just have plagues of problems that we have. I mean, it's how many figures can I name off now that I have just because it's the only version right now, and I'm waiting for an improved version in the future that they're going to inevitably sell me. Like Mighty Morphin Red with the visor and everything. I'm waiting for a better version of that to come out because the one I have right now is crap. I'm done. So I'm going to stop. The comments on this one are probably going to be awful. You call me out all you want. I don't care. If you think that I'm over complaining about this or whatever. I just want, you know, to either get what I'm advertised, which I'm not with A Squad Pink, and I do genuinely think that is false advertising, and I want to get what I'm paying for, which includes every piece that's supposed to be in the box. So I don't know. I don't know which level needs to hear these kind of things, which level needs to go and figure out what is happening, but somebody needs to do something, and I hope that it gets taken care of. But I would love to hear guys' comments down below on it. If you guys are in the UK and if you've seen these problems or if you have them yourself, like I said, I genuinely apologize if that's the case. But I'm wrapping this story up now. We're done.